At the start of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14, there was a lot of hype regarding the potential of where the story could go. Upon learning that two strong, independent Black women could be allowed to occupy the same space on RHOBH, a new lady was officially on the block, Bozoma St. John. Essentially an outsider to the group, many viewers were excited not only for what she could bring, but how she might fare with Garcelle Bovaz. As Boz started to integrate herself into this friend group, it became evident that any hope of a new dynamic duo was lost. Once you pick a side, especially with the tension revolving around Sutton Stracke and Dorit Kemsley, you have an alliance, and the two could never cross. Garcelle stood by Sutton mostly. Boz gravitated toward Dorit. The rest is history. What was a promising narrative only hyper-scrutinized the dangerous stereotypes about Black women on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Garcelle broke down the door for Bozoma to enter. It took quite a long time before the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast a Black woman. It's not that there weren't any in the zip code. For whatever reason, the narrative that the 90,210 franchise was sharing just didn't include any. That was until Garcelle Bovaz was cast on Season 10. Garcelle broke down the door that desperately needed to be knocked down. As a beloved actress with decades of experience, Garcelle's entry into the reality television forum allowed her to share stories and experiences about strong Black women breaking down barriers in the industry. Thanks to RHOBH, viewers watched as she had the opportunity to go behind the camera and become a producer. Garcelle's time on RHOBH was important, but when it started, it was tokenism. They finally welcomed another Black woman onto the cast with the addition of Anna Mary Wiley, but she was not the right fit. Enter Bozoma St. John. As one of the biggest breakout stars of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Boz was able to bring another perspective on the triumphs Black women have made in the business world. She became an exciting and eccentric character, but also provided a needed voice to help us analyze the ongoing feuds within the friend group. Her outside perspective allowed her to make her own decisions, but because the lay of the land was so divided, Bo suddenly became a secondary character to Dorit, just as Garcelle was for Sutton, and, in a way, Kyle Richards. Having such differing perspectives on the situation prevented them from ever uniting and bonding over their similar life experiences. From being single mothers to defying the odds in their respective industries, RHOBH just couldn't let them be their own story. Boz's words hold great weight. While we still have much to learn about what happened during the reunion that led to Garcelle's departure, in everything we've seen thus far, the alliances formed by the Couches may not have allowed them to end things amicably. Following the filming of the Season 14 reunion, Garcelle took the opportunity to share her departure on her own terms in an Instagram post. Then, Boz joined Erica Jane on Watch What Happens Live, where Andy Cohen expectedly asked for their thoughts on Garcelle's departure. Boz said, "I am disappointed that she is departing like this. I wish that she would have stuck around to work out another season." Clarifying she was referring to the abrupt walk-off at the reunion, she said, "I don't think it's a high note." Even so, Bozoma dedicated her Instagram story to Garcelle, writing, "I wish we'd had more time together on this platform to continue showing the world that both of us can exist in the same space with different offerings and different opinions, and besties, but still find a way to resolve our differences without tearing the world apart, and that we are able to shine bright together and individually too. Perhaps in time, they will become friends, but from everything we've seen on screen or heard through the grapevine, Garcelle and Bozoma were unable to exist together on RHOBH. Garcelle deserves respect for leaving on her own terms. Whatever they were to prompt the departure, we'll soon learn. Was it Dorit-related? Was it a strain on her relationship with Sutton? The truth will come out, but what we do know is that we will never know where Bozoma and Garcelle could have gone together on RHOBH. The series is at back square one to celebrate multiple Black women on RHOBH at once. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, a story of new beginnings and fractured alliances. It was a season like no other on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, where the stakes felt higher, the tensions thicker, and the potential for something monumental hung in the air. This season promised more than just glamorous parties, luxury cars, and dramatic dinners. It promised something that had been long overdue: the possibility of two strong, independent Black women sharing the same space, challenging the dynamic of the predominantly white cast. The buzz was real, and it wasn't just about the lavish lifestyles of the Beverly Hills elite. It was about the show finally introducing someone who could bring a new voice, a different energy, and a much-needed shift in the narrative. Enter Bozoma St. John. Bozoma, a powerhouse in the business world, an innovator, and a woman who had broken countless barriers in her career, became the new lady in town. She was an outsider to the RHOBH group, a fresh face in a space that had, until recently, been defined by the lives of its longtime cast members. Her entrance felt like a momentous occasion, as viewers hoped her addition would create a new and exciting dynamic, especially when it came to her potential relationship with Garcelle Bovaz. Garcelle and Boz, two forces, one space. Garcelle, a beloved actress with decades of experience, had become the trailblazer for Black women on RHOBH. Her arrival in Season 10 was groundbreaking, as she became the first Black woman to join the cast in the show's history. Garcelle didn't just play the role of a housewife. She brought her authentic self to the screen, sharing her experiences of being a strong Black woman in Hollywood. Through her, viewers saw the importance of breaking barriers and dismantling the stereotypes that had long existed in both the entertainment industry and society at large. Garcelle's presence was more than just a breath of fresh air. It was a statement. It said that Black women had a rightful place in spaces where they had long been excluded, and it allowed for honest conversations about race, identity, and success. But Garcelle's journey wasn't without its struggles. She dealt with tokenism, exclusion, and having to fight for her place among the other women on the show. Despite this, she carved out a space for herself and proved that she was more than capable of holding her own. And then came Bozoma St. John. Boz entered RHOBH not just as a reality star, but as a woman who had made her mark in the corporate world, holding top positions at major companies like PepsiCo and Uber. She was a force in the business world, known for her confidence, her charisma, and her unapologetic style. In many ways, Boz represented a new generation of women who weren't afraid to speak their minds, break the rules, and redefine what success looked like. It was easy to imagine Garcelle and Boz joining forces, forming an unstoppable duo. The thought of two powerful Black women supporting each other, sharing their journeys, and navigating the complexities of that RHOBH world was nothing short of exciting. However, as the season unfolded, it became clear that this dream pairing wasn't as simple as it appeared. The divide: Garcelle, Sutton, and Dorrit. While Garcelle and Boz had the potential for a strong friendship, the existing alliances within the group proved to be a major obstacle. Sutton Strack, a longtime friend of Garcelle's, was in the midst of her own struggles with the rest of the group, particularly with Dorrit Kemsley. Dorrit, a staple on the show, had a way of making friends and enemies in equal measure, and she was firmly aligned with Kyle Richards and the other women who often found themselves at odds with Garcelle and Sutton. Garcelle had found an ally in Sutton, the two often leaning on each other for support amidst the chaos of RHOBH's frequent feuds. Sutton, with her southern charm and often naive approach to Beverly Hills life, had become the underdog of the season. Her alliance with Garcelle was one of the few constants in a world where friendships were constantly tested. On the other hand, Boz found herself gravitating toward Dorrit. Dorrit, who was known for her bold fashion choices and her somewhat polarizing personality, immediately saw potential in Boz as an ally. Their relationship wasn't just based on shared experiences or backgrounds. It was a strategic partnership that, like Garcelle and Sutton's, had its own complexities. The two women forged a bond that was both glamorous and fraught with tension, as Boz quickly realized how challenging it was to navigate the world of RHOBH, where alliances were often more important than personal connections.